talk about the summer, man, real quick. I want to talk some summer memories, man. I want to go down memory lane a bit. But before we do that, Lonzo, if you could pick an all-time favorite summer song, what would it be? I'll start. To me, nothing sets off the summer or a party better than Will Smith's "Summertime."
Yeah.
Summertime, and "Summertime" in the LBC. Those are my two favorites. What about you, Lonzo?
Those are two favorites. But coming from the old school, I got to go with Summer Breeze from the Isley Brothers.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Because the Isley Brothers, back in the day, they were the Will Smiths of the summer. They dropped every May, every June. Every May or June, they dropped their new album. It took you through the whole summer, man. They laid the soundtrack for more summers than I can remember back in the day. And Summer Breeze, okay, that song was made by a white group. I think it was Stills and Nash and somebody in Croft. Somebody made it.
Yeah, Crawford Stills and Nash.
Yeah. And they took it and funked it up. And hello, come on, man. Yeah, that's when we was doing a lot of drive-in time. So I was, and when I think about that now that we're talking about it, man, dude, we was trying to get laid as much as possible. We was not trying to fight, shoot nobody, get cut, get stabbed, shot, playing op games, and our life was not Grand Theft Auto, dude. It was more like Love American style. Anyway, go ahead.
I would love to go down memory lane with you, Lonzo. Talk to me about summertime when you were a teenager, man. What are some of your favorite summertime memories, if any stick out?
As a teenager, when I was a youngster, I always had a car. I had access to a vehicle. We didn't go that far. We didn't really go that far, but we would go to the beach, do a bonfire. I never liked sand in my feet, in my shoes, so I'd always either post up on the blanket or somewhere close by the car. We did a lot of. We always went to the fair during the summertime, the Pomona Fair. I did a lot of car club stuff. I was in the Vega Club back in the day, so we went to the car club, and we spent a lot of time working on cars and just fixing up cars. I had a job most of the time. I always had a job in the summertime doing something, working for either my girlfriend's dad or my dad. Worked for Caltrans, and I remember the most was picnics in the park. Man, that was probably the most fun we had as a kid. We made go-karts. We made go-karts. Okay, we would steal baskets from the grocery store and make go-karts. Nail them on. Nail the nails with axles, right? Well, this is a true story. Where I lived at, I lived right behind my house was up against the alley, and the alley had a hill coming down, and we had a dude from the neighborhood, for lack of a better name, we gonna call him Horse, and Horse could run his ass off, and Horse would push you out the alley, man. And you had to make a quick left turn to go down the street. And sometimes he push you so fast your goddamn wheels come off, okay? And your ass slide in the gutter. Oh, man, it was fun. Then he was so fast, he would actually have you racing against cars. I ain't bullshitting. He'd be pushing down the street there, and you keeping up with cars and shit going down the street till your wheels came off. You had to nail them back on. Yeah, Doc, that was summertime.
Sounds like a blast, man. Sounds like a blast, dude. Well, I hope everybody out there's having a great summertime. Shout out to the chat fam. Let's jump right into it. Before we get into some hip-hop stories, Lonzo, because we have some questions from last week that people wanted to ask, and I'm also have a few this week as well, because, you know, the 50-year anniversary is coming up, and I really want to paint a picture of West Coast hip-hop during this time, and who better to do it than with the godfather of West Coast hip hop. So we will be talking a lot of hip hop, and it seems like you guys like that out there. But before we jump into that, Lonzo, I would love your thoughts on this story. Lil Baby, I'm sure you are familiar with him, one of the most popular rappers in the past 5 years. He's one of the highest streaming artists in recent years. He's canceling tour dates right now due to low ticket sales. He's having a hard time even selling in his own hometown. Now, a lot of people are saying that's the difference between the internet and real shit. But when you hear, you know what I mean, like a dude who's getting billions and billions of streams and he can't even sell out an arena in his own hometown, what do you think?
High ticket prices. I don't even know what they are. I know they're high as hell. Concert ticket nowadays, out of their goddamn mind. They want a month's rent for a house for a concert ticket. depending on who the artist is. Now, I don't know who else is going to be with him. I don't know what the ticket, I don't know what they are, but I know they way more than they should be at this point in time. We're in a recession, and maybe that's why they're doing it. I don't know, but I know ticket prices are ridiculous, and the cost of doing a concert is been increased so much, especially a hip hop concert. Most folks don't realize a hip hop concert probably has double the liability, double the insurance, double the security. That's one reason why the tickets are so high. They have to amplify everything because the prospect of violence is so damn high. The insurance company probably want a $5 or $10 million policy where most people get a $1 or $2 million policy. They probably want a 5 or 10 if they even want to cover the damn thing. And then you got to have the police permission, but you got to have off-duty cops or on-duty cops. You might even have to have them cats hang off the side of the truck sometime just to make sure everybody get home safe for intimidation. Then you got to have so many other factors. Yeah, I can see that, man. Yeah, I can see that. It's probably the cost of doing business.
As a club owner back in the day, what were some of the insurances and things and precautions that you had to take beforehand before you can even open the doors? Or did you kind of do your own thing and hope you didn't get caught?
Man, back then we went no damn insurance. I ain't worried about no damn insurance shit. We just opened the damn doors. The last thing we thought was somebody was gonna get hurt. That was the furthest thing from my mind. Even back then, if somebody did do something stupid, they wouldn't even cop to it. If they fell off of something, they play it off. Man, dude, I can't. Of all the clubs I've ever owned, I've never been faced with a lawsuit or a problem that couldn't be settled with free admission or a beer or some shit, man. I mean, it was just a different time. People wasn't as litigious back as they were back then. You know, when I got to the casino, they got a little slicker because they knew the casino had more money. When it came to independent club owners, for me, dealing with kids, especially kids, what kid want to admit being hurt? If he admit being hurt, he probably can't come back. Hell no, I ain't hurt. Hell no, I fell off the bike, busted my lip, busted my tooth. I ain't hurt, mom. I want to go back outside. I broke my leg. I can't tell you I broke my leg outside riding my bike. If I get hurt riding my mini bike, shit, I can't ride my mini bike no more. I ain't never got hurt. Same philosophy. There
it is. You know, speaking of clubs, let's talk about Eve After Dark and a certain specific part of the history. You and I knew someone in the past, and you, I'm sure, knew her way well than I did because I was just a young guy, and she gave me a couple of opportunities back then. But Maxine Shaw, we meant to talk about her a month or so ago during Juneteenth. I used to do Juneteenth shows for her all the time in Compton, and she knew one of my mentors back in the day, and that's kind of how I became to know who she is. Great woman. But you knew Maxine as well, and you said that she actually saved Eve After Dark.
Yes, sir.
At one point,
sure did.
Can you break down Maxine Shaw? Tell everybody who she is, and then give us that story.
Maxine Shaw was a deputy to the county supervisor Kenneth Hahn. She had a lot of power. She had a lot of influence. Kenneth Hahn was a county supervisor here in LA for our district. He was a white guy, but he was loved by everybody. And his deputy, she was a deputy, if I'm mistaken, for Kenneth Hahn, liaison deputy. She represented him a lot of times on different situations. And the Eve, we had just got shut down because we didn't have a youth dance permit. And they were fighting this left and right because the Eve sits right next to a church. Right next to a church. There's churches all around the Eve. And although the club downstairs had a liquor license, it was already grandfathered in. And there was a technicality that they was trying to impose to keep us from getting the youth dance permit. And in the county of County of LA, they have a situation that's a little bit unique. You have to have a permit to have teenagers dancing in a building. Okay. Nobody knew about that. I've been open about 3 years before I even knew I had to have one. They caught us on it, shut us down. We couldn't operate. And they were actually fighting Jeffy, the owner of the building, to not let him get the youth dance permit because he had alcohol license downstairs. And once they proved that the two buildings were different entrances to the building, she was the only one that stood up and said, no, these kids need someplace to go. And I just feel that that's a mistake, and she persuaded her other compadres to vote with her, and we got the youth dance permit. And it wasn't until later on I met her son, Fred Shaw, and told him that story. We became best friends. I've been knowing Fred about 25 years, and his mom had already passed. I never had a chance to thank her. No, I did have a chance to thank her, but she didn't know me to know how I was connected. I just told her thank you for keeping our club open, and she just smiled. Okay, thank you, baby. And I guess she probably went past her head. But
one of the many great things she did.
Yeah, if Jeffy was there, she would have known what was happening. But for the most part, man, her good nature spirit and her son just picked up her same vibe, and we've been rolling ever since, man.